Hello! Welcome to the GOAT. My name is Sharo,
And I'm Robbie.
and we'd love to know what's got your GOAT? What's got your GOAT today, Robbie?
What's got my goat today? Lots of stuff have got my goat today, I've got to say.
Oh, God, here we go. Okay. So, what in particular is really getting your GOAT?
So I think we should talk about the Manly Sea Eagles
Oh, yes, some
and
controversy there.
their pride jersey.
Yes, indeed. Not so proud they are there, are they?
No. So for those who don't know, do you want to explain it or do you want me to explain it?
Go for it.
So for those who don't know, the Manly Sea Eagles are going to wear a pride jersey for their match on Thursday. And 7 of their players have decided that they do not wish to participate because it is against their religion and or culture to wear a pride jersey.
Even though it's a symbol of inclusiveness, they're
Yes.
still saying, hell no.
Yes. It's against their principles. So I think one thing that has got my goat about this is that the Manly Sea Eagles themselves have copped a lot of flack
Yeah, absolutely.
because people are saying they should have warned them first. They should have been able to speak with them. They should have known further in advance. My question about that is, what would that have solved?
Correct.
What would it?
Because they're still going to boycott it anyway because it's
Exactly.
against their beliefs.
Yes.
So you're right. What point would that be?
Yeah. So, and a lot of people are saying, the people who are against it are Pacific Islanders, and they in their culture they have to explain to their families different things and stuff like
Mm.
that, and it would have given them time to do that, but they wouldn't have changed their minds, like you said.
And at the same time, though, they're talking about them being opposed to wearing the pride jersey on religious and cultural grounds. Let's be specific. Point out what are your religious and cultural grounds that make you not able to wear a jumper with colours on it?
That's it. That's it. And it's either, supporting LGBT plus people is either against your religion and culture or it's not. All the amount of lead up to it and discussions about it, is that really going to change that? You're either against it or you're not.
Correct.
So,
That's 1,000% correct. So it actually makes no sense whatsoever. Believe what you want to believe, but aren't you just there to play rugby?
yeah, so exactly. So, that's the first thing that's got my goat is that the Manly Sea Eagles themselves have caught a lot of flack. Another thing that has gotten my goat is people's discussion around this. So they're talking about virtual signaling and all this sort of stuff. But I think you need to break down what sport means to people. So sport
Yeah.
means a lot to people, not just in Australia but all around the world.
Yeah.
People look up to sports people. They just do. Whether you like it or not, or whether you think throwing around a stupid ball and running up and down is anything, people do. And, it's important what the sports stars do and say and feel.
Well, that's exactly right. So if you think about, let's just say there's a young kid out there who might be struggling with their own sexuality, and they're a massive rugby fan, and then this comes out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What happens now?
Yeah. You look at things like the rate of youth suicide,
Correct.
in
Yeah.
or out, whether you're gay, straight, whatever. Youth suicide is high anyway, especially in males.
Yeah.
And then now you're looking around, and there are kids out there now who are thinking, my sporting stars
Mm-hmm.
think that I'm against my sporting stars' religion, or
Yep.
they're against me now.
They hate me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They're going to start
it's
questioning everything. Does that mean my hero hates me? Does that
yes,
mean
yeah,
my hero thinks I'm not important, that they're against who I think I am or who I am
Yes.
as a human
Yeah.
being.
And no matter how you frame it, no matter whether you say it's religious or cultural or however you want to frame it, the fact is their sporting star, their idol, is against them.
Yeah,
That is
1,000%.
just fact. They are against them. Otherwise, they wouldn't have a problem with it. So you can't even say, well, it's not true, because it is. They are against them.
And whether or not people are putting apologies out there, we want to apologize for not telling the player. What has that got to do with anything? What does
Exactly.
that matter whether you give them the go ahead or not? Hey, we're going to be wearing pride jerseys. Oh well, I'm still not going to participate. Then
Exactly.
don't get paid.
Yeah.
But again, it's now a big issue from what you were talking about before, that there are people that look up to these players
Yeah.
and that have completely just smashed their dreams.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
And
that's what's sad. Not that, whether players are boycotting or not. It's that these people that really look up to some
yeah,
of these players as role models.
that's it. So it's
God knows
not
what.
right. So it's not about virtual signaling. The NRL and Manly Seagulls and whoever, they're not virtual signaling. They're actually doing something that's important. By including people. So
Not so much.
well, they're trying, but then the players aren't. So, that's the first thing. That's another thing that really annoyed me about the whole, calling it virtual signaling. Another thing that's annoyed me about this whole debate, and it's not just this, it's a lot of other stuff. It was like the Israel for Laos thing that was a couple of years ago. And whenever we have any of these sort of things, why does religion have this sort of place in our society where it allows you to be bigoted and hate other people without question?
Yeah.
That's what annoys me. So, if you don't like someone or you hate gays or whatever, then and you just say, oh, I hate gays or I hate these people, I hate those people, and you just leave it at that. Well, someone's going to turn around and say, well, you're a bigoted person, rah rah rah. But if you
Yep.
turn around and say, well, it's against my religion, then everyone's like, oh, well, stand up for your religion then, can't say anything to you because it's against your religion. And it's just mind-boggling. Like,
But why aren't we challenging those people as well to say, okay, we'll point out exactly where it says in your religion's literature.
because we're not allowed to. Because, because if you point that out or you say something about that, well, point it out to me, or where does it actually say that, you then are the bigot. You're then saying, well,
Exactly.
how dare you question that person's religion?
And yet they're allowed to make the statements that they do
Yeah.
in regards to people's sexuality.
Yeah. It's just, and it's, how come someone, you can prove that people exist. You can prove that. Gay people exist, all that sort of thing. You can prove that. You cannot prove your God or your religion is true. You just
Yeah.
can't do it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have thousands and thousands of religions. We'd only have the one. You can't prove it. So why are you allowed to turn around to someone and say, well, I'm sorry, you're not allowed to exist because my make-believe religion says that you're not allowed to? Like, but that's what they're saying. They're saying you're not allowed to have an opinion or a day or join, or
Yep.
you're not allowed to do any of that because my religion, which I can't prove by the way, but I feel it, so it must be true.
And well, that's exactly right. It's coming down to a feeling, then,
Right?
isn't it?
Right?
And look, you're entitled to your opinion.
Right?
You're entitled to feel the way you feel. But when you make it public and you then therefore force your opinions, feelings, beliefs onto the rest of society,
Yeah.
nah,
And be mean about it. Like, why are you allowed to do
not
that?
cool. Not cool.
No. So another thing that's annoyed me about this whole situation
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
is I was watching the drum yesterday. Well, I was watching it today, but it was from yesterday, and they were talking about this. And you know, what's really annoyed me is old Whitey McWhiteface has got stabbed in the neck about this whole
Hold
situation
on, hold on.
again.
Who is old Whitey McWhiteface? And by the way, you do realise that someone could then turn around and say to you, "That's racist, Robbie."
Right? Yes. So
White,
Whitey
white.
McWhiteface is colonizers. So they're trying to blame it now on colonizers. So when the English came and colonized and whatever, you know, apparently sexual gender fluidity and sexual fluidity and all that sort of stuff was fine in the Pacific Islanders culture. But ever since white settlement and Christianity came, which is completely different, two different things. But anyway, that got stamped out and they replaced it with Christian values. So even though all the people who are against this is from the Pacific Island, they're Pacific Islanders.
Yep.
45% of NRL players are Pacific Islanders. 13% are Indigenous people. 0.8% are from English white backgrounds. So, but now they're saying, well, it's all a white problem again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it's because you're not allowed to say that a Pacific Islanders culture is in any way wrong.
No, you're not.
You're not allowed to say that religion is wrong.
No.
But you are allowed to say that the Whitey McWhitefaces are wrong.
Sorry, I can't stop laughing when you say Whitey McWhiteface. I'll probably get into trouble for laughing about that.
But you can. And there's,
you know,
you know, and it,
I am a Whitey McWhiteface.
yeah.
I think I can laugh at that.
Exactly. But, you know, I'm like, they don't need to be inclusive about is the people who apparently don't have any culture, but they colonize everyone else.
So what's the solution?
So, well, there is no solution. There is none. There is none.
Exactly.
Because you're not allowed, you know, there's no way you are ever allowed to stand up and say religion shouldn't be saying things like that to people. There's no way in hell you're allowed to say that. So there's no solution. And it's just going to keep happening and happening and happening.
Just really sad.
Yeah. So because you're only allowed to be inclusive to a point where anyone who's been elevated above inclusiveness, so depending on your religion or your culture, as long as they're okay with everything, then you can be inclusive. But if they're not, then you can't.
To be at the point where I don't care what religion you are. I don't care if you're pink, purple, orange, white, yellow, black, brown. Don't care. I also do not care what gender you are, any of it.
Yep.
Just be.
Yeah, exactly. So I think what the NRL and what Manly Sea Eagles done is good because they've gone, fine, that's your choice, don't play. But we're not going to do away with the jerseys. So
Do you think it's necessary to even have a pride jersey?
At this point in time, I'm not usually for these sort of things, but at this point of time, I think yes. Because if you're gay sportsmen and women, sports people are still not, it's still not, you know, as supporters as it should be when they come out.
But again, though, why do they have to come out?
Well, see, there's a difference. See, the thing is, you don't.
Aren't you just playing sport? Why does everybody need to know the sexuality of a sports person?
So why should it be? So let's say we've got Tom and Jerry, right? Tom's just normal straight guy. Jerry's a gay guy. Why is it okay for Tom to say, on the weekend, my wife or my missus or whatever, and I and the children are going out to wherever? And why does Jerry have to hide things and not talk about? Why can't he say, me and my boyfriend or me and my husband and the kids or whatever are going, why should he have to feel shame or feel that he can't actually... So it's not coming
Totally
out.
agree.
So it's
Totally
not
agree.
about coming out. It's about why can't he be his authentic self?
Oh, and you say, I think, well, I live in a little world by myself because I would be nonplussed if, yeah, I went out with my husband. Okay, good.
Yeah,
Yep. Why is it an issue for some people
exactly.
that, oh my God, such and such is gay? Who cares?
Yep.
It's
So
2022.
yes, yeah.
Whoop-de-doo-dah.
So that's
How does it affect your time in the house?
That's it.
How?
So that's why I do think it's important. And then, you've got people who are sports people, like the soccer guy who came out, who has to think now he's out, he has to consider whether he goes and plays in Saudi Arabia.
Oh,
Because
don't.
it's
Don't.
illegal. It's death. So now he has to consider, now I've come out, my team's going to play in a soccer tournament over there. I have to decide whether I'm safe enough to actually be able to go there.
I know, it's just ridiculous. And honestly, just people need to just remove the labels. Let people just live their lives the way they want to live them. It's got nothing to do with anybody else. It doesn't affect you. Let people just be who they want to be. And if they want to be gay, they want to be straight. Good for you. Great. It's never ever, sadly, going to change. I don't think it is, and you're still going to have, millions and millions of people around the world that are going to fight for this till the end of time. And unfortunately, because of the inverted commas religions.
Yep. And
Just
look, and it
not
is
change.
the worst part about it is that it is religion. Because
It
is
is.
right that lots and lots of cultures, not just Pacific Island cultures, but most cultures around the world before Christianity and the Abrahamic religions started growing in popularity, gender and sexuality and stuff like that was fluid. You look at ancient Greece and all those sort of things, it was very fluid. So religion, the Abrahamic religions in particular, so your Christianity, your Muslims, your Jewish people, those Abrahamic religions have a lot to answer for. So anyway, that's got my goat. What's got your goat, Sharo?
I'm all out of goating right now.
You've got not a goat to speak of?
Not after that conversation. Obviously, you're going to edit that out. Wow.
No, I'm going to keep that one in.
So for a little bit of a Billy Goat's gruff, just a mini baby one, dare I even broach the topic, Robbie, on Parliament and going to church?
Oh, right? So I was watching the 47th Parliament that was just opened yesterday. So I have been following it. I have. And you know that I was fucking outraged when they had an early morning church service. You know that. You do know that.
I just thought, go all out, people. Go all out. So you do your church service, but again, we're going to be open to the people. We're going to support all different cultures and minorities. But again, you didn't. You went to Catholic Church in the morning.
I just don't understand.
What has that got to do with Parliament?
Right.
Why are you doing that? And then you'll do your, sorry to say, token Aboriginal Indigenous ceremony, which is really just taking the piss.
So I am non-superstitious. So I am against all the silly superstition rituals that you can think of. So that,
look, there's my cat.
So that includes the silly church service and the smoking ceremony, because none of it's real. It's all just made up culture. It's all just someone's made it up. It's not real. It's pretend. It's culturally constructed. No matter where you come from, it's just bullshit. It's filler. It's silly superstition that we used to do back when we didn't know things. But
I
now
think
we know things. We shouldn't be doing it.
there shouldn't be anything to do with any of it to do with
No.
Parliament. Just open up your
Right.
Parliament.
Swear them
Um,
in. Make them
yeah.
pledge their allegiance to us who voted them in, because that's what they're there for. They're supposed to be working for us, and fucking get on with it.
And well, where were your religious services for every other religion that's covered in the country?
Right.
Where was that in the morning?
Right. It's
So
just
again,
silly.
you're targeting one religion only.
Yep. Silliness. It's silliness is what it is. So it's
Could have just gone and done a big Hillsong presentation, and
fucked hard. So can we just need to stop and think about something for a minute. Our most recent ex-Prime Minister stood up at a church and said, don't trust the government. Don't trust them. Trust just in God.
that's
So
probably why he's not there anymore.
he was our Prime Minister. Like, I can't believe no one, like, there was a little bit of fanfare in the media, but no one went, mate, this guy's a fucktard.
I think a lot of people did, perhaps in their lounge room.
Oh, they need to yell it from the sky. Like,
As we know, if people yell things from the sky or you start things, then all sorts of, court cases will happen and slander and
and I know that I am very anti-religion, so I know that sometimes I have to curve my.
Oh, but that didn't happen today. They did it.
Shush. I try. All right.
You did try. And look, that Billy Goat session could turn into a massive goat session. So I think we'll just leave that one well enough alone for
Well,
today.
there's more to talk about on it at a later date.
Oh, I don't doubt that for a minute. Get you started on politics. God help the world. Thanks everybody for listening for this one
Yes, like and subscribe. There's more coming.
on the goat.
Play your sound.
Where is it?
I don't know.
Here you go. You're going to do a lot of editing here, man.
Oh no.
Catch you next time on the goat.